The slave trade relates to the patterns of transatlantic trading that had been developed as early as the mid-17th century. The colonial period started in Virginian 16s and ended up in 1776 with the establishment of Commonwealth of the state. Trading ships will set out from Europe to the west coast of Africa with a freight of finished goods. There, over weeks and months, these goods will be exchanged for captured people given by African traders. Also, slaves of colonial Virginia come from Africa and they learn some skills while they are coming. The English pirates split the captive Africans into two groups between their ships. Both vessels sailed toward the British colony of Virginia, which was established in 1607. Each ship carried out a different number of slaves, and also there are laws of Virginia slaves. It is not permitted them to purchase or sell anything. Slaves came to colonial Virginia by three routes directly from Africa with a lengthy stay in West Indies, and from other British colonies on the mainland. There are different numbers coming by each route between 1670 and 1775. For instance, some of them would already have been seasoned, learned some English, and gained a few European skills. Historians likewise maintain that many Africans had their first taste of slavery in the West Indies before being sent to mainland. Virginia, which was one of the two major receiving areas for new slaves on the North American continent with South Carolina, had only a small international slave trade in the 17th century. A document compiled for the Board of Trade lists slaves brought to Virginia from Africa between 1699 and 1708. Ships carried 6,607 slaves from Africa on 39 separate voyages. Lists record 32 slave vessels entering Virginia from Barbados, Jamaica and Nevis between 1699 and 1703, but unfortunately indicate the cargo size for only 8 vessels. The 8 were 1 to 16 slave shipments, the small numbers suggesting the slave were just part of the cargoes. 5 of the remaining 24 ships were so small that they could not hold many slaves between 20 and 25 tons. Around 1727 and 1736, if slaves are removed from the 6 British registry ships carrying more than 40 slaves each, 550 slaves came to Virginia on the Western Indian Road, mainly from Barbados, Jamaica, and St. Christopher. Such ships had a total load of 30 tons and held 8 slaves each.
Old Dominion, New Commonwealth, a history of Virginia between 1607 and 2007 is the remarkable story behind the founding not only of the state of Virginia but of their nation. The colony of Virginia, chartered in 1606 and settled in 1607, was the first enduring English colony in North America. Following failed proprietary attempts at settlement on Newfoundland by Sir Humphrey Gilbert in 1583. In that time period, the founder of the new colony was the Virginia Company, with the first 2 settlements in Jamestown on the north bank of the James River and Popham Colony on the Kennebec River in the modern-day Maine. Both was in 1607. The Popham colony quickly failed due to a famine, disease, and conflict with local Native American tribes in the first 2 years. Jamestown occupied land belonging to the Popham Confederacy and was also at the brink of failure before the arrival of a new group of settlers and supplies by the ship in 1610. Tobacco became Virginia's first profitable export, the production of which had a significant impact on the society and settlement patterns. In 1620, settler John Rolfe planted tobacco obtained from Bermuda. Within a few years, the crop proved extremely lucrative in the European market. As the English increasingly used tobacco products, tobacco in the American colonies became significant economic force, especially in the tidewater region surrounding the Chesapeake Bay. Vast plantations were built along the rivers of Virginia, and social economic systems developed to grow and distribute this cash crop. Some elements of the system included the importation and employment of slaves to grow crops. Planters would then fill large hot sheets with tobacco and convey them to inspection warehouses. In 1624, the Virginia Company's charter was revoked by King James I, and the Virginia colony was transferred to royal authority as a crown colony. After the English Civil War in the 1640s and 50s, the Virginia colony was nicknamed the Old Dominion by King Charles III for its perceived loyalty to English monarch during the era of the Protectorate and Commonwealth of England.
Mohammedans or different heathens will whenever buy any Christian hireling nor some other, aside from of their own composition, for example, are proclaimed slaves by this demonstration. And if any Negro, mulatto, Indian, Jew, Moor, Mohammedan, or other unbeliever, for example, are pronounced slaves by this demonstration. In any case, by any Christian white worker, the said worker will become free and absolved from any help. And if any individual having such Christian hireling will intermarry with any such unbeliever, each Christian white hireling of each such individual so intermarrying will become free and vindicate from any assistance because of such fancy women so intermarrying, as previously mentioned. And furthermore, be ordered by the position previously mentioned, and it is thusly established that no individual will sell or buy any money or slaves, any coins or products without the permission of anybody's named worker or slave owner. And if any individual will opposite here without the leave or permit aforementioned manage any hireling or slave, the person so culpable will be detained 1 calendar month without bail or primary price, and afterward additionally proceed in jail until the person will discover great security in the whole of 10 pounds current cash of Virginia for the great conduct. Subsequent offense will be break of the bound, and besides will relinquish and may pay multiple times the estimation of the things so purchased, sold, or got, to the ace or proprietor of such hireling or slave, to be recapped with costs by activity upon the case in any court of record right now, state, and domain, wherein no asson, insurance, or bet of law, or other than one importance will be permitted.